The following is a fan-made reading of the Pale web serial novel by J.C. McCrae. It describes extra material published after Chapter 4.7 and contains spoilers for that chapter. The original text can be found at palewebserial.wordpress.com. If you'd like to donate to the author, please go to patreon.com/wildbow. Student Guide. What follows is an unofficial description of the maps shown in the student guide, as well as a verbatim reading of the student names and descriptions. The first page contains a map with a high-level depiction of the Blue Heron Institute's buildings and other features. The core of the institute, stretching from west to east, could almost be considered a single building, though it is divided into what are called the Central Building, Western Wing, and Eastern Wing. A handwritten note under the Western Wing says, Senior Dorms, Offices, and under the Eastern Wing, Our Dorm, Library, all capitals, Food, Showers and stuff. Just south of the main building, about 1/3 of the size, is a large circular grass field, into which is cut the silhouette of a heron. The field is surrounded by 6 other buildings, 3 on each side, with an additional one further off to the west. These buildings are described as workshops, ritual sites, and special student dormitories. South of the circular field, and between the 2 southernmost of the aforementioned buildings, is the school parking lot. North of the main building are 2 large green areas described respectively as blasting site and exercise field. A handwritten note under the pair reads, Do not mix these up, I guess. Wooded areas surround the institute. Also on the map are a hand-drawn arrow to the east and note reading Bridge, and another pointing to the northeast with a note reading Rock of Death and Horny Teens. The second page shows more detail of the central building. The center of the building contains the primary classroom. Other rooms include Major Ritual Site, Ritual Prep, Cleanup, Janitorial, Storage, Major Props, Ritual Furniture, Freezers, and Animal Feed for outdoor pens, Common Ritual Notes, Common Use Texts and Teaching Materials, Lost and Found and Supply, Lounge Area, Indoor Dining Room, Entry Hall, Mudroom, Coat Room, washrooms for boys and girls as well as a mixed one. A note at the bottom reads, Animal pens may or may not be up at the rear of the building, depending on planned rituals. The third page depicts the Western Wing. It includes the headmaster's office and living area, Raymond Sunshine's office and quarters, Mrs. DeRocher's office and quarters, guest instructor temporary quarters, tea nook, study nook, and the senior student rooms. Students in the Western Wing. Y. Bellinger. First apprentice to Alexander, Y has graduated but returns for classes to teach beginner augurs and to touch base with Alexander as Y handles the hands-on portion of the Bellinger private investigating. Tanner Gilpin. Tanner became aware after discovering words written on a wall telling of things to come. He was taken in as apprentice, and few, if any, would disagree that his talents reward the decision. Another graduate, oft sent away on tasks for the Bellinger Circle. Seth Bellinger. Seth, once one of the biggest troublemakers at the BHI and the nearby towns, is now a graduate. He serves the Bellinger Circle and assists with special projects on request while deciding on a course in life. Chase Witt. Chase joined the Bellingers from the Witt family after it was found that he had naturally keen sight, especially when it came to finding elusive and hidden things. He helps with the Bellinger business and attends advanced classes. Amin Roskio. A rare case of our esteemed Mrs. DeRocher inviting someone on as an apprentice. Amin took the name of a true god and forced it to unmake its 2 divine sons before unmaking itself. A perpetual resident of the study nook. He attends advanced classes. Reed Musser. Reed takes after his father, a school founder, but does not necessarily follow in his footsteps. He has been traveling the world since he was 15, studying power in its various forms. Reed keeps a collection of 9 implements and 2 familiars, Blackhorn and Drown, a trick that owes to close-held family secrets. He attends advanced classes and helms one special project in the workshops. Nicolette Bellinger. The most recent apprentice under Bellinger, Nicolette took the family name as part of the deal. She survived the kind of awareness that drives most into cruelest madness and emerged with sight. A keen augur and practitioner of incarnate practices, dealing in omens and curses, she attends advanced classes. Estrella Vanderwerf. Estrella leads her family practice at 17, after all family practitioners over the age of 18 were executed by the Montreal witch hunters. The Vanderwerfs have long dealt with the regimented winter court of Fairy, and Estrella puts practitioners with 3 times her experience to shame as she keeps track of hundreds of plots, many of which have run for centuries. She heads a special senior project. Jessica Casabian. Jessica found the practice on her own, following an echo into the ruins, and figuring out her own means of delving deeper. She agreed to lend her knowledge and expertise in exchange for lessons. She attends intermediate classes, and is frequently away on her expeditions. Hadley Hennigar. Eldest of this generation of the Hennigar clan, Hadley does not shy away from the family practice of the gore-strewn. Death refuses to claim her, but war certainly seems to have his hold on her. She gets her sport targeting witch hunters. That she's still with us as the loudest student in the Western Wing is a testament to her talents. She attends advanced classes, emphasizing war, elemental, and price-based fields. Ulysse Miraz. Chosen hero of a god he will not name, Ulysse appealed to Mrs. de Rocher for the coveted spot of apprentice, and won her over, a task many attempt and very few succeed at. He bears the tools gifted to him by his deity, and avidly studies in the advanced classes, with a focus on the divine and greater powers. A year ago, we might have joked here about his out-of-school studies of girls, but he has recently engaged to be wed to Eloise Miraz. Eloise comes from an old family, relatively speaking, which says a lot when some of us can trace our lines back to the era of Solomon. Her practice is as an enchantress, and she deals with the brighter fairy courts, including High Spring and High Summer, courts her family has ancient relationships with. She attends advanced classes with the ever-charming Schwarzmugel, a high perversion. Zed Sadler. Apprentice and friend to Raymond Sunshine. Just as we were thinking we were freed of the stylings of Raymond's retro 80s technomancy, Zed arrived on the scene, with relentless good-naturedness and some radical talents. The senior staff have remarked several times that his penchant for tracking down interesting problems to solve resembles the stylings of the Blue Heron Institute founders, before we had founded the Institute. Zed helps with special projects and attends the rare advanced class, but can just as often be found out on the road. He rooms with Bree Callie. Bree became aware while finding her way through the Devouring Song ritual, then later helps to bind the ritual. She has yet to decide on a course as either host or harbinger. She began attending this spring. On the 6th page is a more detailed map of the Eastern Wing. It contains kitchens, showers, library, texts, library, computers, library, quiet classroom, deep storage. Students in the Eastern Wing. Dom Driscoll, 10, beginner historian. Saul Ferguson, 12, elementalist of the Great Blast. Eugene Legender, 16, sealer and exterminator. Howie Legender, 15, exterminator and sealer. Salvador P. Martin, 14, shaman, spider breather. Zachariah Nickel, 14, totemist, hot girl totem. Bo Austin, 14, necromancer, echo drummer. Easton Sonjate, 14, war mage and summoner. Miles Sutton, 14, alchemist, restorative specialist. Davian Reese, 15, Oni knife throwing. Damarian Stein, 14, summoner, Eastern approach. Mike Story, 15, spirit sword / Oni sword fighting. Jarvis Staples, 16, contact practices, summoning. Silas Vanderwerf, 16, Fey Magic, Winter's Bidding. Maddox Willen, 16, Spellbinding, Soulbinding. Lane Gudbrand, 16, Spirit and Wraith Gardening. Maximilian Palasi, 15, Valkala, Ghost Weapons. Talos Leos, 13, Caller of the Glass Prison Spirit. Timon Leos, 14, Caller of the Black Gutter Spirit. Talia Graubard, 11, Beginner Dollmaker, Enchanter. Georgia Leos, 11, Caller of the Drugstore Cowgirl Spirit. Xerxes Wilkins, 17, Duality Host with Bloody Money. Erasmus Wilkins, 15, Duality Host with Aslaug. Corbin Kierstad, 14, Dabbler, Subversive Practices. Melody Kierstad, 13, Dabbler, Longevity Practices. Kellen Hennigar, 15, Gore-Streaked Undying Archer. Sawyer Hennigar, 14, Gore-Streaked Gunslinger. Macaulay Hennigar, 13, Gore-Streaked Dancer. Yadira Kennedy, 14, Western Kitsune / Oni Practices. Cassidy Knox, 14, Trinket Specialized Collector. Fiona Mace, 13, Astral Projector, Body Jumper. Raquel Musser, 13, Soft Implement Collector. Daniela Rosum, 15, Abyss Drinker, Elementalist. Natasha Scobie, 15, Snowfall Elementalist. America Ted, 16, Goblin Witch Princess. Liberty Ted, 15, Goblin Raider Princess. Lila Throop, 14, Large Scale Curse Specialist. Fernanda Witt, 13, Generalist Emotion Manipulator. Lucy Ellingson, 13, Wild Practitioner, Fairy Sword Fighting. Verona Hayward, 13, Wild Practitioner, Dabbler. Avery Kelly, 13, Wild Practitioner, Finder. Special Students, Graduate, Workshop, Itinerant, etc. Elizabeth Driscoll, Historian. Currently leading a special project, Ritual City Design. Braxton Hart, Goblin King. Paid for workshop for 2 years' time, currently serving a 9-month jail sentence. Workshop is not to be disturbed. Judah Greer, Technomancer. Apprentice of Raymond Sunshine, using one workshop as a relay point for quick world travel, doing preliminary work for special project that is to begin next year. Millie Legender, Dabbler, Sealer, Exterminator. Residing in the rear of Workshop C while taking advanced classes, for privacy and to be closer to certain projects, is doing contract work for other students to safeguard sensitive special projects. Omarion Chant, Calendar Ritualist. Graduated student, rented one workshop for a year. This has been a fan-made reading of extra material from the web serial Pale by J.C. McCrae, read by me, NumberWangMan. The original text can be found at palewebserial.wordpress.com. If you'd like to donate to the author, please go to patreon.com/wildsbow.